Imagine spending countless hours on an ad campaign only to realize that the ads missed the mark and did not connect with your audience. Now you're left wondering why your carefully planned ads fell flat. The truth is, successful ads have less to do with their visual appeal and more with how well they're aligned with your audience. In this video, I'll walk you through the whole process of creating high converting ads for your e-commerce brand. But before we do that, who am I and why am I qualified to tell you all this information? My name is Siradia and I'm the founder of IDMA, which is a growth consulting and management firm for e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands. At IDMA, we simply help e-commerce brand owners scale their e-commerce brands to multiple 7 figures or 8 figures a year by implementing our growth infrastructure into their businesses and managing it on their behalf. In other words, we partner with brand owners and take care of the marketing and sales department within their business to make it inevitable for them not to achieve profitable, predictable, and sustainable growth with their brands. Right, so we're on phase 2.3. So far we've gone through phase 1, which is the audience research and offer refinement slash creation process. Now we're on phase 2. We've gone through the ad copy frameworks, and now we're going to go through actually how we develop an ad creative. Right now we actually going to create the ad, right? The visual aspect of it. We've got the ad copy, right? Now we're going to create the visual aspect of it. And remember, the ad copy framework is only necessary if you're going to be creating static image ads, right? If you're creating static image ads, you're going to have to do most of the selling through the text, right? If you're creating a video ad with a script, right, or a UGC ad with a script, you won't need the ad copy framework. You still need an ad copy framework, but it will be done through the script itself, the video script, not the text above the ad. Does that make sense? So we're gonna go through how to actually develop an ad creative that actually resonates, right? And this is it. So cool. So using all that information we obtained from the offer refinement and audience research phase, we create ad creatives using the ad creation framework and quickly put together a working ad campaign. This could also include UGC ad creatives, depending on the type of e-commerce brand we are working with and the ad creative types that are currently working or performing in their industry. Iradia, remember to briefly describe what each part of this. Yeah, for sure. I'll zoom in here. Right, so cool. So obviously, this is a very simplified version of the ad creation process. Obviously, there's a lot more steps in here, but this is enough for it to make sense, essentially, right? So at first, we have research to develop the ad creative. So obviously, that's audience research, but also ad creative research, right? As I said, if you want access to this doc, right, the whole doc and also the ad creative research doc, just DM us on Instagram, the IDM Instagram, DM us the word resource, and then we will send you access to the ad creative research process doc, right? You can access that and you know exactly how to carry out the ad creative research. As for audience research, right, target audience research, subjective data, objective data, all of that, we've already covered that, right? So on this doc and in this training. So, but you need the research, right? Then you go on to ad idea development, which is what we're about to go through, right? Which is how to develop the ad creatives, how to come up with an ad concept and develop ad ideas, and then develop creative assets, right? That's what we're about to go through right now. And then obviously there's brief writing. Brief writing for, obviously, if you're creating a static image ad, that'll be, a brief that you send to the graphic designer to create the ad, and obviously you go through revisions with the graphic designer, right? That'll be the creative strategist and the graphic designer going through this, right? Saying to you. So, or if you're creating UGC ads, you're gonna have to send the brief to the UGC creator, receive the raw content back, review it. If they need to do if they need to do something differently, they can do it again and go through that process. Then once it's good, then the content is sent to the ad editor, right? For the ad editor to edit the raw UGC content, and then go through again revisions, and if it's good enough, then we move on to testing and launching the ads, right? Of course, as a growth consulting and management firm, there's a few more steps that we would go through, right? Because we're working with brand owners, we're working with e-commerce brands, right? So there's a process that we follow that's a very thorough, do you know what I'm saying? But essentially, this is what's going on, right? This is what's going on. So it's a simplified version, right? I'm not gonna sit here and just go through each step, right? So I'm just gonna give you a simplified version so you get what you need to understand, essentially, right? So this is the majority. So as you can see, hopefully you can see the screen. So we got research, ad idea development, brief writing, and also depending on what the type of ad creative you're creating, if you're creating UGC or if you're creating a static image ad, obviously, you might have to communicate with the graphic designer or send a brief to the UGC creators and then and send the raw content to the ad editor, and then once everything's ready to go, then you test it and launch the ads, right? It just depends on what kind of creative you're creating, right? So the brief, it would determine, also the ad creative that you want to create will determine what the brief is going to look like and who you send it to, essentially. So hopefully that makes sense. Very simple. Research, ad idea development, brief writing, obviously the actually ad creation step, and then testing, launching ads, and then evaluation of ads and optimization. So this is how we determine whether an ad is performing or not. So we'll also go through that. So these are the 4 steps that we're gonna focus on now: ad idea development, brief writing, evaluation of ads and optimization, testing and launching ads. This is a simplified ad creation framework, right? Cool. This should make sense. Let's move on, right? Now, we've already gone through the research part on phase 1, yes, I said. So we will only be going through our idea development process, UGC creative brief writing, like I said, testing / launching ads process, evaluation of ads and optimization process, right? So these are the 4 key steps, right, in the whole ad creation process, right? At IDMA, we have a growing pool of UGC creators. So if we're looking for UGC creatives, we simply contact the UGC creators that are the best fit for the e-commerce brand we are creating the creatives for. Send them the creative brief, and receive content from them within a few days, right? The team then edits this raw content to make ads, and then these ads are presented to our partner, the brand owner, for approval. As a brand owner in 2025, you need to have a network of UGC creators if you are doing this yourself, or you can partner with IDMA, and of course, we'll do this for you, right? So anyways, let's continue. Ad idea development. Many brand owners invest a significant amount of time developing ads that are destined to fail. This is usually because they miss a very important step in their ad creation process. This overlooked step is precisely why a select few e-commerce brands consistently launch ads that truly resonate with their audience and drive results. Without this one step, advertising becomes a shot in the dark, and here's why. Even if you manage to develop a winning ad without going through this one step, you'd have no insight into why it worked. This means you wouldn't be able to replicate the success, making it impossible to consistently and predictably drive sales. At IDMA, we do not like operating in this manner because we don't just want to win today, we want to win forever. Now, as I said, if you don't take an intentional approach when creating your ads, when you actually do get a winning ad, because you might get lucky and get a winning ad without knowing why you got a winning ad, but because you don't know why, you can't replicate the success, right? So you have to be very intentional about creating ads, not just to get winning ads, but also so that you can create ads like that work, right? So that said, something that I'm going to make extremely clear is not every ad you launch in your ad account is going to hit. So that means, work and get results, right? Or contribute to the achievement of your objectives. However, with the implementation of this one step, you will drastically increase the probability of launching ads that resonate with your target audience. At IDMA, every ad idea is crafted through an intentional, purposeful, concept-driven process. At IDMA, every ad idea is crafted through an intentional, purposeful, and concept-driven process. Rather than just explaining it, I'll break it down with a diagram to show you exactly how it works. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So cool. Hopefully you can see this diagram. Every single ad we create, we go through this process, right? Oh, zooming too much. All right. So, cool. Let's break this down. So as you can see, if we zoom out, you see 4 different rectangles essentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This rectangle is where we come up with the ad concept. Ad concept ideation. As you can see here, ad concept ideation. That's the first rectangle, right? These three rectangles is ad idea development, right? So 1, 2, 3. These three rectangles is ad idea development, right? Now, at IDMA, so you have a potential ad campaign here, and then inside that campaign, you have an ad set, right? Which one ad. So you have a potential ad campaign, and each ad set is one ad concept. Each ad concept that we come up with is going to become an ad set within an ad campaign, right? So we have the ad campaign. If you look at the ad account structure, you have ad campaign, and each ad campaign is going to have an ad set. And that asset for us is an ad concept. Every asset that we come up with is an ad. Every ad concept that we come up with is an ad set within a campaign, right? So to come up with a core ad concept of any ad that we create, we have to have three components: the who, the why, and the what. The who is the target market segment that we're going after. Who are we going after? Are these people problem aware, solution aware, product aware, unaware, most aware? Who are we going after? This is where we have to take into consideration the state of awareness that the people that we're trying to target are in. What state of awareness are they in? Are they problem aware, unaware, solution aware, product aware? Who are we going after? Right? And what are the needs and wants? What are the needs and desires? Who are we trying to speak to directly? Are we talking about the office workers, or the health conscious seniors, or the tech enthusiasts? Who are we trying to target? Who are we going after? Older people that want to they want to stay healthy, or office workers that spend a lot of hours at work that still want to be fit? Who are we going after? That's the who. Why? Value proposition or angle. So this is why should they choose your product? Why is your product important to them? So this is your product benefit or feature. Benefit that helps them achieve their desires, or a feature that solves their problem. Why should they choose your product over someone else's product? Why should they care about your product? Essentially, that's the why, right? That's the why. Why should they care about your product? As I said earlier, and I'll keep saying this, your ad is the bridge between your target customer, their needs and wants, and your product and the benefits and features of your product. The ad is the bridge. This link between your target audience and the wants and needs, and your product and your product benefits and features. This link, and obviously you have the ad. This forms the basis of your ad concept, right? Which is what we're talking about right now. So that's the why. So the why is, why should people care about your product? Why should they care about why? What does that do for them? Why? That's the angle, right? That's the sales angle, right? And then obviously the what, product or offer. So that's your product, right? So every ad concept comes from who, why, and what. That is the core. That's the core ad concept of any ad. In any ad that we come up with, we always think about who are we trying to target, why should they care, and what are we offering them. And when I say product or offer, this could be a product. And the reason I say offer as well, right? Obviously product makes sense, products, right? But the reason I say offer is because you could be offering a bundle, right? So your offer might not just be a product. It could be a product, right? But it could be a group of products, right? Or it could be a discount, right? It doesn't have to be a discount. It could just be a bundle offer, whatever the case may be. But what are you giving them, right? That's why I said product/offer, right? But the main point here is every ad set that we create, every ad concept that we come up with is an ad set in an ad campaign, right? And every ad that we create comes from a core ad concept. We don't just create ads and hope for the best. No, we have to come up with an ad concept first, and then develop the ad creative based on the ad concept, following that theme, right? A core theme, as we spoke about earlier in the audience research phase, right? We spoke about this. You have to have a core ad concept, and that has to be the basis of every ad creative you create, right? So now moving on. Once you have the core ad concept, which is the who, the why, and the what, right? Once you have a core ad concept, we come up with, usually 2 to 3 ideas per ad concept. So we come up with 3 ideas. This could be static image ideas or video ideas, UGC ads, whatever the case may be. But the point is, from this core ad concept, we come up with, 2 to 3 ideas, right? Right. And these ideas now, which could, let's say it's a UGC ad, right? Let's say we come up with the idea to create a UGC ad, this one here, right? So let's say this is a UGC ad. We have to come up with 3 variations of it, right? Because we want to essentially run a dynamic creative test, right? So a variation is essentially is the same ad, but just with one slight change, right? One small change. Maybe the hook is different. Maybe the visual hook is different. Maybe the text hook is different. Maybe some aspect of the UGC ad is different. Usually it's always the hook, right? Because that's usually where people struggle with the most, right? They can't hook people, they can't grab attention, they can't get them to stop scrolling, right? But it could be also the UGC creator that you use in the UGC, right? You could have the same script, but just 3 different UGC creators, right? Because you have 3 different ad variations, right? So you could have a different person actually, saying the script that you created for them, or you could have 3 different call to actions. Everything else could be the same apart from the call to action. The point is, you change one variable, and it has to be the same variable in these 3 ad variations. You change one variable in each of these ad variations, right? But they're all the same, essentially the same ad, just one little change, right? And if you're doing a static image ad, it could be a different ad concept headline, for example, or a different background image, right? So, but the point is, you change the same variable in each ad variation, right? To make a fair test to see if that change made a difference, right? That's the whole point of it, right? Cool. So we have the ad concept, who, why, what, right? And then we have ads, right? We come up with the ad ideas, right? The ad ideas, right? So are we gonna create a video ad or a static image ad or a UGC ad? Carousel? What we doing, right? So what style of ad are we gonna come up with? Features point out, like you have the image of the product in the middle, and you have like arrows with different features. Are we gonna do that static image ad? Are we gonna do that, or what we're doing? So that's the ad idea, and then for each ad idea, we have 3 ad variations, right? So for each ad idea that we come up with, right, we have 3 ad variations, right? And then these ad variations, usually we have 2 aspect ratios for each, right? So we create them in 2 aspect ratios. So let's say we create a static image ad. We might have a static image ad in a 9:16 aspect ratio, which is vertical for reels. And we might have like a 1:1, which is a square for like normal post on Instagram. So like normal post on Instagram or Facebook, Meta, for example, right? Also in TikTok is different, because on TikTok you're just doing 9:16, because every video on TikTok is vertical. People are holding the phone and scrolling through. Now I've seen some ads where they've used like 1:1 image. I've seen it, but it's not the best, right? You want to use 9:16. You want to optimize the ad for ad format for the specific platform that you're advertising on, right? It's going to perform better in most cases, right? Of course, Meta has started to do this automatically, so you don't even have to do it. Facebook does it for you, but I would still recommend that you create it yourself, just to make sure, right? For now, anyways. I mean, you might not have to in a few years' time, or even a few months' time, to be honest. It just depends. But the point is, the way we do it, we come up with 2 different aspect ratios, right? So 1:1 and 9:16. So in total, you have 6 ads. So from one ad idea, you're gonna have 6 ads in total, right? They're gonna be 3 ads, but 2 different aspect ratios. So in total, you're gonna have 6, right? Technically, so they're technically 3 ads, but 2 aspect ratios. So you're gonna have 6 creative assets. That's what we call it. We call these ad variations, and we call these creative assets. So you're gonna have 6 creative assets, 3 ad variations, 1 ad idea from one concept, right? Also, one concept has 3 other ad ideas, right? So each ad idea has this. So that's our process, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is, bottom line is, every ad that we create comes from an ad concept. We're not guessing and hoping and trying to see if we get a winning ad. We're not trying and gambling. Every ad we come up with is intentionally and purposefully crafted. There was a reason we created the ad. It comes from an ad concept. Here we're trying to target, why should they care, and what are we offering them? Every ad that we come up with comes from this ad concept. This is what we call the core ad concept, as you can see here, Every ad that we create comes from this core ad concept, which is essentially the combination of these three elements, as you can see here, right? This is how you can create ads that resonate with your market, or this is how you increase the probability of creating ads that resonate with your target audience, and you can consistently replicate success because you know what you did to create the success. You sat down, you said, we're going after these people, this is the sales angle, and this is what we're offering them. It was intentional. You didn't get lucky. It was an intentional process. So if you get a winning ad, you know exactly what to do to get another winning ad because you did it the first time. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what you did, right? So it's very intentional, right? So cool. As I said, if you want access to this diagram, you want access to this doc in general, DM us the word resource. DM us the word resource on Instagram, and then a team member will be happy to send it over, right, to you, right? Now, moving on. As you can tell by the image, it outlines the process of developing a potential ad campaign, starting with a core ad concept. This core ad concept is shaped by understanding three critical elements: the target market segment, who the ad is for; the product or offer, what is being advertised; and the sales angle, why the audience should care. These three elements are visualized in a Venn diagram within the image, illustrating how they intersect to form the core ad concept. This core ad concept is what drives the development of ad ideas, ad creative variations, and creative assets for various platforms and placements. Obviously, the creative assets for various platforms and placements. 1:1, 16:9 aspect ratio, right? As you can probably, not 16:9, 9:16, right? As you can probably tell, as you can probably guess, finding a sales angle that truly resonates with your market requires two things: a deep understanding of their desires, pain points, and frustrations gained through audience research, and number two, a clear alignment between those insights and the unique features and benefits of your products. Now, to summarize all this one step in a couple sentences, before you jump into the creation of your next ad creative, take the time to think about who exactly are you trying to speak to. Then learn as much as you can about them so that you can strategically, not luckily or hopefully, strategically, intentionally position your product as the bridge between their current state and desired state, right? You're trying to strategically position your product as in a way where it shows to them that this can actually get them to where they want to get to, or can help them achieve what they want to achieve, right? If they have a problem with acne or skincare problems, your product can help them with those skincare problems, right? Your product is essentially the bridge, to achieve what they want to achieve, right? But the point I'm trying to make is you need to be intentional about creating ads. You don't just shoot in the dark and hope for the best. You need to go through this process: ad concepts, ad ideas, ad variations, creative assets. This is how you can intentionally create ads and increase your probability of succeeding. And if you get a winning ad, guess what? You're going back and you're creating the same ad. And let's say you do go through this process and your ads don't perform. Great. Now you know exactly what not to do the next time. We tried this before. It didn't work. Let's not do this again. Now, this is where obviously internally we have a log. Every ad creative test that we launch, we have a log. Whether it succeeds or not, great. We still know why it succeeded and why it didn't succeed. We have the ingredients, right? The foundation of every ad. So if it doesn't work, we know, okay, cool, wow, we've tested this before and it didn't work. Let's not do that again, because we keep a log of every creative test, right? But that's internally. I would advise you to have that as well, right? But we have to internally at IDMA because we're intentional about it. And I always tell the team, even if we don't create winning ads, if we try different ad concepts and essentially different ads and they don't work, we know why they don't work because we've gone through this process. And as long as we keep a log of it, whenever we come up with new creative ideas, we can reference the log and see, okay, cool, wow, we've tried in the past, let's stay away from that. That's not going to work with this ad account. That's not going to work with this brand. Let's stay away from that because we tried it, right? So we got a whole database, right? So we got a whole log, right, of each creative test. Now, without the implementation of this ad concept ideation step, even the most visually appealing ads can fall flat. Now that we have an understanding of what we must do before developing an ad, let's go through our ad idea development process. So now we know what we have to do, right, before we actually develop the ad. We need to have an ad we need to go through an ad concept ideation step. We need to have an ad concept ideation step. Without an ad concept, we do not develop ads. Never. And at IDME, we don't do that, right? Maybe other companies do. We don't do that, right? Now, for this video training, we are going to focus on how to create UGC ad creatives mainly. This is because, number one, UGC ad creatives are one of the most challenging types of ad creatives to produce because it typically involves creating videos and collaborating with content creators, right? Two, UGC is the type of ad creative that most e-commerce brand owners struggle with the most, right? Because you'd have to contact with content creators and stuff like that, right? There's a lot of back and forth. Just in case you do not know what a UGC ad is, UGC ad is user generating content ad. It's an advertisement that features content created by customers or professional UGC creators rather than the brand itself. E-commerce brands collaborate with these content creators who specialize in UGC to produce high quality, authentic, quote unquote, authentic content that resonates with the target audience. By the way, just thought this is worth mentioning. UGC ad creatives are not the only type of ad creative that can get good results with, that you can get good results with. You can get great results with other type or other styles of ads too. Now, okay, so you already have all the research that you need from phase one. Now all you need to do is develop core ad concepts. Two, put together a list of ad ideas you would want to create for each core ad concept, right? So you develop ad concepts, then you have a list of ideas for each ad concept. So let's say you come up with 3 ad concepts, you have to come up with ad ideas for each one of those ad concepts. Remember, these different ad ideas have to be aligned with the core ad concept. They have to be aligned with who you're trying to speak to, why they should care, and what you're offering them. Each ad idea has to align with the ad concept, right? Now, core ad concept equals the identification of a market segment's desire or pain points coupled with the product benefit or feature most likely to satisfy the desire or solve the pain point of that target market segment, right? So like I said, your ad is the bridge between your core ad concept. Your core ad concept is the bridge between your target market's desire or pain points and your product feature and benefits. Your ad concept should be the bridge. Essentially, is the ad itself is the bridge, right? The ad comes from the ad concept. So that is the bridge, right? And obviously the sales angle is how you strategically position that benefit to appeal to the target audience, right? So that sales angle, the ad contains the sales angle, right? And the sales angle is basically the bridge, right? So between the target customer and your product, right? Now, again, this diagram, I've shown you guys this diagram before, but it's so important, right? So important, so important. Right, so you have your target market segments, right? You have the mass market desire, which is the thing that drives the demand, the general demand for your whole market, right? The mass market desire is what creates the huge market, is what drives the demand that people within that market have, right? Whether that be better health or better relationships, and this is that, like, whatever the case may be. Mass market desire, right, is what drives the demand, right? The general demand, right? And then within that market, you have segments, and these individual segments have these different desires and different pain points, right? Your ad, which essentially has the sales angle, right? Your ad has the sales angle. Your ad contains and carries the sales angle, right? Is the bridge between your product feature and benefits, and the target market segments of your market, right? So what you need to do, what your ad is doing is basically connecting a target market segment to a feature and benefit of your product. Your sales angle strategically positioning this feature and benefit with your target market segment's desire or pain points. So that's what your ad is doing, strategically bridging the gap. That's what ad is supposed to do. This is the best way to look at an ad. This is what an ad is. It's bridging the gap. It's that simple. It's not complicated, right? So cool. Moving on. 3, produce ad ideas. Obviously, like I said, create the ad. Actually create. So we have ad concept, ad ideas, and obviously now you have to create the ads, right? Produce the ad ideas with the highest potential to perform effectively from each core ad concept you developed, right? Make sure you create 3 ad creative variations for each ad idea you come up with so that you can test them in a dynamic creative test in a DCT if you're advertising on Meta or TikTok. Because I think TikTok has a smart creative ads, so it's the same thing. Like, the point is you should create three variations, right, and test them out. Now, elements to test: add concept headlines or test hook or visual hooks, right? Ensure each variation changes the same element. This is important. Don't change different variables in each ad variation. You have to change the same variable in each ad variation to make sure that if there's an incremental improvement or if there's any significant difference in the results that each variation is able to achieve, right? When you do a scientific experiment, you don't change. I don't want to get technical, but when you do a scientific experiment, you change this dependent variable. You change the same variable. You don't change different variables at the same time. If you're testing for something, you need to change the same thing in each subject, right? You don't change the thing that you're testing. Otherwise, the results that you get are inaccurate because they don't represent, they don't mean anything. They're meaningless results. You need to change. You need to change the same variable, right? So cool. Now, more on this later. To create a winning UGC ad, it's essential to understand its structure. While there are various ways to build a successful UGC ad, the framework below represents the most common and effective approach. Obviously, there's a lot of different UGC ad creation frameworks, right? But just to keep things simple for this training, right, we're just gonna go with this version, right? Because see, there's different ways you can position each module within a UGC ad, if you want to call it that, each section of a UGC ad, right? But just to keep it simple, this is a simple one, standard, framework, right? Hook, introduce problem, introduce product, authentic testimonial, call to action. Easy 5 steps, right? So this is essentially what the structure of a winning UGC ad is. Now, of course, you see UGC ads that have been structured a bit differently, but generally speaking, this is in essence the flow of a winning UGC ad. I'll be sharing a few more UGC ad structures later in this training, for sure. I'll give you a few more examples of the structure of a UGC ad, right, in a second, right? Right. Other marketers might make it seem more complicated than it actually is, but it really doesn't have to be. The different variations of a UGC ad may include other modules such as social proof, competitors comparison, how-to tutorials, how to use the product, right? Feature and benefits after the introduction of the product. The goal with our UGC ad and with every ad in general is to grab attention, hold attention, and persuade people to take the desired action, visit our product page, and actually buy, right? When you create a UGC ad, it's very important to state the problem or product our product solves or the desire that our product satisfies for the market segment we are trying to target. A question we like to ask ourselves at IDMA is, what information does the viewer need to make a decision and take action or be sold on our product, right? What do they need to hear in order to buy our product, essentially? Before we actually create any ads, what do they need to hear in order to buy our product? And we'll take that into consideration when it comes to the ad idea development process, right? Let's divide. Now, let's divide the UGC ad into 2 parts, which are the hook and the body, right? The hook is the first 3 to 5 seconds of an ad. The body is essentially the rest of the ad, right? Hook. When it comes to hook, there's 3 different type of hooks, right? So let's come up with a text, overlay, and audio, right? So this is when you're creating a video ad that doesn't essentially require a UGC creator. You just have B-roll footage and text overlay and a sound in the background, right? So you don't really have a UGC creator speaking, right? You just have text in the background. You might have AI with an AI voiceover, or maybe just text, right? Or maybe someone speaking, but you don't have a UGC creator, right? So just text, right? So that's text and audio, right, for the hook. Or come up with a line that we want the UGC creator to say, right? So it could be, again, if it's a UGC ad, then in this case you have the creator say the first line, right? So you still might have text on the screen, but you have the creator say it, right? If you want the creator to speak voiceover, yeah. So, and then the third type is come up with visuals for the hook. That's the third thing that you need to think about. So the first thing is come up with a text overlay plus audio for the hook, right? So that's for video ads that don't require UGC creator. And then come up with the line that we want the UGC creator to say. That's when we do want the UGC creator, when we do want a UGC creator to speak and say the first, when it's a UGC ad essentially, right? And then obviously the another thing to think about when it comes to the hook is come up with the visuals for the hook, right? So what's the first frame of the video looking like, right? What's the first few 3 seconds of the ad? What do we display as a visual, right? Obviously this applies to video ads, right? Body, when it comes to the body, we need to think about three things. Come up with the text overlay, obviously the text for the rest of the ad and the audio, right? For the rest of the video. And then if we are creating a UGC ad, we have to come up with a script for the UGC creator for the rest of the video, right? If we want the creator to speak voiceover. And then also we have to think about the visuals. What kind of B-roll, if we do UGC ads, what kind of shots do we want the UGC creator to have, or to send us as raw footage? What kind of shots? Standing up, using the product, whatever the case may be. What do we want, right? That's what the visuals is for, right? Now I'm gonna give you some examples of the text overlay plus audio, right? One where you might have UGC creators, but they're not actually speaking, right? Let me show you an example. So let's go with this one, text plus audio, and then I'll go through the UGC creator example, right? Let's start it again. Right. This will help you with your weight loss goals. Introducing Burn of the Gods, taking Australia by storm. You'll get increased energy and focus without the jitters and crash. Burn of the Gods will help curb cravings and suppress your appetite leading to less eating, while also increasing your thermogenesis and metabolism to burn fat around the clock, and so much more. Head to our website to get yours today. Right. So as you can see by that ad, you had a voiceover in the background, right? But that wasn't that wasn't necessarily the UGC creator. That's just an AI voice in the background, right? And you have text, right, going on, and you have audio music in the background, right? And you have visuals going on, right? With there's actually a creator that's actually on the visuals, right? But it doesn't have to be, right? But yeah, so that's the text overlay / audio example. Now, if we're doing a UGC style, right, so now we have to develop a script for the UGC creator, right, to say, right? The other one also requires a script as well, but it's not for the creator to say because we're just creating a video ad, right? But when you're doing a UGC ad, right, you need a script for the creator, right? So this is another example where we do speak to where this creator has to speak, right?
Fat burner by Hercules supplements, and oh my god, has it changed my gym routine. I just mix one scoop into a glass of water before I go to the gym, and I've just noticed a massive increase in my energy levels, and I'm also just able to train for a bit longer than what I usually would. I've also noticed that my moods are better and I'm able to focus for longer, which is great when I'm working from home. And the best part about it is it makes me less hungry, so I'm not snacking all day.
Yeah, it's decent UGC ad, to be fair. Decent, right? But anyways, the hook, right? So that's two examples. One, a UGC style, you can see that the person is speaking in first person, right? Whereas the first example, it was just more of like someone just speaking over, the visuals, right? So, but this one's like obviously more UGC style, right? Kind of ad, right? Anyways, the hook. So let's dive deep into the hook. The hook in your UGC ad creatives serves the same function as the ad concept headlines in your static image ads, right? They serve the same fundamental purpose of capturing interest quickly in an environment where users are constantly bombarded with content. By doing so, they increase the likelihood that the audience will engage with the ad and take the desired action. Okay, but how do you create attention-grabbing hooks? When it comes to the text overlay plus audio, the first type of ad, right? Or the first line we want the UGC creator to say in a UGC style ad, the voiceover, right? At IDMA, we typically use one of the product's main value propositions, benefits, or address a key pain point in the ad hook. So like either we use a benefit statement or we use a problem statement essentially, or a pain point that the target customer that we're trying to target is experiencing, either a pain point or a benefit, right? This, of course, depends on the awareness level of your target market. Again, are we targeting a problem-aware target person, or are we targeting a solution-aware person? Who are we trying to target? Benefits or pain point depends on target market awareness level. Problem-aware or solution-aware. It just depends on the awareness. Who you're trying to target. That's why the core ad concept is so important, because we have to determine who we're going after, right? This approach works because the chosen value proposition should align with the desires and needs of the market segment we're going after. As I said, an ad is the combination, an ad should be the bridge between the desires and pain points and the feature and benefits of your product. That's what an ad is doing, right? Let's go back to this. So at IDME, we typically use one of the product's main values. Yeah, the hook depends, awareness level. This approach works because the chosen value proposition should align with desires and the needs of the target market segment we are going after. And by ensuring that the product benefit resonates with the market segment, your ad is more likely to convert potential customers into actual customers. This is quite self-explanatory. We've already gone through this, right? So that's the thing. So either a pain point statement or a benefit statement, right? If you watch the first ad example again, you will know you guys can actually go back and replay that section. If you watch the first ad example again, you will notice that the first hook of the ad is, "This will help you with your weight loss goals." What segment of the market, better health and fitness, do you think this hook will resonate with the most? The segment of people trying to put on size and muscle, or the segment of trying to lose fat? If you said the segment trying to lose fat, you're correct. That's the person that the ad is made for, right? If you said now, if you watch the second ad example again, you guys can go back, and replay the ads, right, that I've already played, right? If you watch the second ad example again, you notice two things. Number one, the ad is a different ad idea with a different style, but it's still aligned with the same core ad concept, right? They still align with the same core ad concept. The product is the same, the angle is the same, right? The target audience is the same. Two different ad ideas. One where it's like a text overlay and audio and someone speaking over. The second type of ad is a UGC ad. It's this person speaking in first person, right? But those two different ad ideas are still aligned to the ad concept because they're speaking to the same person. They have the same angle, which is the why, and they're offering the same product. That's an example of two ad ideas that are aligned with the ad concept. This is how you intentionally make ads that work. Now, it's a different ad idea, but the e-commerce brand is still aiming to try. The ad is a different ad idea with a different style, but it's still aligned with the same core ad concept. It's a different ad idea, but the e-commerce brand is still aiming to attract people that want to lose weight, right? So they're still looking for people that are trying to lose weight. They're offering the same products, and the sales angle is the same, just a different style of ad. But the core ad concept is still the same. The foundation is still the same, just a different look, right? Or different visual, presentation. Two, the hook of the ad is, "If any of my girlies are looking for a new fat burner, I have found the one." This hook follows one of our ad concept headline variations. Remember I said earlier, the ad concept headline and the hook are the same thing. The hook is for obviously video ads, and the ad concept headline is for static image ads, right? But they're the same thing, right? They follow the headline, one of the ad concept headline variations. If A, then B statements. These statements are designed to capture the reader's attention by addressing common problems or needs, encouraging them to continue reading or take action. So if A, then B statements. That's the same as the core ad concept, frameworks that we went through previously in the ad copy frameworks part of this training, right? So it's the same thing, right? So moving on. Here's a simple framework that makes this very easy for you to do, right? Because I know people are gonna be like, "Well, how do I create a hook? Like, so let's go through practical steps, right? So hooks, first 3 to 5 seconds of the video. Step 1: create a table like the one below, right? I'll show you the table. Again, our table is different, but this is essentially what you need to do. I just put this together like in 5 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean? That like 25 minutes to create this table. So just for this training, right? So again, hook type, you have benefits, problems, pain points, questions, aspirational, call out, personal experiences, social proof. These are different ways you can start your these are different ways you can start your video ad essentially, right? So you create a table like this, and then step two. By the way, if you want access to that or this training in general, I know I've said this multiple times, but if you want access to this training or this document or that particular template, again, DM us the word resource on Instagram, and then a team member will send it over to you. It's not difficult. So let's move on. Let's say you're an e-commerce brand owner that sells hoodies for men. These are the hooks we might come up with by leveraging your main value propositions or pain points from the research phase. So step two, brainstorm multiple hooks for each hook type using all the research data you've gathered in phase one and your creativity, right? So let's see idea development hooks. So you might actually, now this is just where, so when you do your research in phase one, you're reading through the customer reviews, or you reading through the obviously the surveys that you sent out to your customers to get objective data, and you might find out some insights, and you can use that to actually come up with hooks, right? You might have seen in the review that people like hoodies that feel warm, so you might start the ad with hoodies that feel like a warm hug, like so it's like using the true insights to actually create the hook, right, of this ad, right? So it's very simple, quite straightforward. I wish I would have bought this sooner. Guys, stop wearing uncomfortable clothes. Do your hoodies make you feel cozy and stylish? Like obviously, these are examples that that could be used for like a clothing brand, right? But the point is, it can be used for anything. Skincare brand, beauty brand, supplements brand. You can still follow the same framework: benefit statements, problems, pain points, questions, aspirational call out. You can use this essentially these categories for any type of brand that you have, right? It's not just for clothing brands. It applies to any type of brand, right? So, but yeah, so this is that. These are literally taken out from customer reviews of a brand's website. I wish I would have bought this sooner, right? Because people say that in the customer reviews, oh my god, it's so good, I wish I bought this sooner, right? I never had this hoodie that fit me like this. Again, talking about the fit and how it feels when they wear it. Like, again, it's going to be taken from customer reviews, from the audience research. This is why audience research is so important. If you understand your customers, and you know how to speak to them, you will be able to get their attention every single day. Like, I'm saying to you, so it's easy, right? So when it comes to the hook scenery visuals, when it comes to the scenery visuals of the hook, at IDMA, we employ various approaches to achieve this based on the ad creative research you did in phase one, right? You might have a good idea of the type of visuals for the hook that has the potential to perform and get results in your industry. But the reality is, even if you do the same thing your competitor did, it might not work for your e-commerce brand. You just have to experiment with different visuals and see what imagery or visuals has the highest hook rate. Hook rate obviously is a percentage, right? Obviously equals total impressions divided by 5-second video views, right? 3 to 5 seconds. Obviously, the hook is the 3 to 5 seconds, right? So, how many impressions do you get, right? How many of those impressions obviously watch the video for 5 seconds, and obviously times it by 100 to get a percentage, right? So the more you understand what makes people stop their mindless scrolling, the more effective the visuals of your hook will be. So what you need to be thinking is, what visuals will get someone to stop scrolling and get their attention? Like, yo, what is this? Like, what can stop them? Like, because what you're trying to do is pattern interrupt. You're trying to stop their scrolling pattern, because obviously people are scrolling mindlessly. So what you want to do is stop their scrolling. Like, you want to stop and focus on the ad. Like, oh right, like, what is this? Like, I didn't expect this. Like, it's random, right? So here's a simple two-step process that you can follow to create the visuals for your UGC ad hook. Brainstorm ideas, so that's generate a variety of ideas for how to visually present the hook. You can get inspiration from all the ads you've watched and analyzed in phase one. Remember, we went through the ad creative research process in phase one, so you've seen a bunch of ads, you've seen a bunch of different hooks, right? So you can use that to come up with something different, or even you can even try use one of the ones that you've seen that you thought were really good that could work in your ad. You could use that as well, right? There's no really wrong way to do this. The point is, the key question you need to answer is, would this make someone stop their scroll? If yes, great, try it, right? This is ads, right? The main thing, the most important part of the ad is just the ad concept. As long as you have an ad concept, the vision, the way you present the ad, it matters, right? But you won't really know, right? You have to test these things. That's the whole point of testing, right? But you need to have an ad concept because that cannot be tested. That has to be concrete. You need to have an ad concept. You need to have a solid foundation. You can test the visual representation, the visual aspect, you can test it, but the foundation, the core ad concept cannot be guessed. You have to be very intentional about the ad concept, right? Yeah, be creative and ask yourself what makes someone stop the scroll and become engaged, right? Two, select the most compelling idea, choose the visual hook, idea that you think has the highest potential of engaging the viewer. Yeah, if the viewers don't make it past the hook, the chances of me making sales are going to be ridiculously low, for sure. It goes without saying, right? Now let's move on to the body of the UGC ad, right? I know I'm going through a lot of information, but this is how much detail I want you guys to have, right? Because obviously, I could have made this training. I could have made this training a lot shorter, right? And go through less things, right? But then you won't have the depth of knowledge that you need to actually get results, right? So I want to go through everything step by step, right? So again, if you want access to this document, DM us the word resource on Instagram and we'll send it over to you, right? You can have it, you can read it on your own pace, your own time, right? The body of your UGC ad creatives essentially has two functions, which are number one, to hold the attention of the viewer, right? Because you've got their attention now you have to hold it, you have to retain it. Two, to get that viewer to our product page on our website and actually get them to buy, right? That's it. So two functions: hold their attention and get them to buy. Drive traffic to the website, right? And get them to buy. Now, the logical question you may be asking yourself is, how do you piece together the body of a UGC ad? That's a great question. Let's get into it. Well, firstly, when it comes to the text overlay or audio for the rest of the video, or the script that for the UGC creator for the body of the video, if we want to create it, if we're creating a UGC ad, obviously, at IDMA we have a bunch of frameworks that we leverage to come up with a winning UGC script. Here are a few of the simple ones you can get started with ASAP. Of course, like I said, there's a bunch of different UGC ad frameworks, right? The point is, which I'll go through in a second. The point is identifying which one makes sense for the target market segment you're going after, right? Depending on the awareness level, right? Because these frameworks might be better for each of these frameworks might be better for each target market segment, right? So if you're going for problem aware, one of these frameworks might be better than another one. If you're going for a solution aware customers or potential customers, a different framework might be more suitable. So depending on the state of awareness that the target audience you're going after is in, each one of these frameworks might be more suitable than another, right? And I'll break that down. I'll explain what that means in a second, right? So obviously we have ADA, attention. So listen, you guys can post this, right? All right. Again, you can, as I said, you can have access to this doc, right? So I don't need to spend too much time here, right? But it's different frameworks. That's the point, yeah. Now, keep in mind that the framework you choose should align with the awareness level. Like I just said, your concept is built around, right? For instance, if we are marketing or advertising to a problem-aware audience, there is no point in coming up with a script leveraging the 4Use framework or the FAB framework, right? The 4Use: urgent, unique, ultra-specific, useful, or the FAB framework, which is features, advantages, and benefits, right? There's no point using those two frameworks, right? This is because our target market is problem aware, but they do not know if there is a product, your product, that solves the problem, which indicates that they are not solution aware. So they're problem aware, they're aware of the problems, they don't know if there's solutions right now, right? So they're looking for solutions. So talking about your product doesn't really help. You need to educate them. And I said, what's the best solution, right? So as I said before, when we spoke about the ad concept headline, if the majority of your market is problem aware, you must lead with the problem. And for that reason, the PASS framework would be more suitable, as I said, because you started with the problem. You're leading with the problem, right? Now, and by the way, the opposite is also true. Let me explain. If you are targeting an audience that is solution aware and you lead with the problem in your advertisements, chances are your advertisements will not resonate with the market, as they have already acknowledged that they have a problem and are looking for the best solution. So if you're going after a target market, or a target audience that are solution aware, right, and looking for products, you shouldn't lead with the problem. You should lead with the solution. You should lead with the product, because they're looking for products. You should lead with the product, right? So depending on what state of mind the target audience you're going after is in, the framework that you choose, right, has to be suitable for that, right? And this is where the technical aspect of it comes in. You actually have to know what framework works for each, state of awareness, right? We just come for an example. The past will be more suitable for problem aware, and then you have the fab and the four used for, like, product aware or solution aware, right? Now, the second type of audience does not need to be made aware of a problem, and they do not need to be made aware of the fact that there are solutions. They need to be made aware of your product and its superiority compared to others. That's where the FAB framework, features, advantages, and benefits, for example, can get you great results, right? So the framework is dependent on who you're going after, the awareness level of the person you're going after, right? Now, with that being said, the reality is your UGC ad scripts are fueled by the true insights bank you obtained from all the audience research you did in phase one. The frameworks I presented earlier are just that, frameworks. They're a way to organize information, right? The most important thing is for you to have the information to organize in the first place, right? Now, if you use them to organize the data or information you gathered in phase one, use these frameworks to structure your UGC ad script effectively, increasing its potential to convert viewers. Here's an example of a script using the PASS framework. Let's say we are advertising a weight loss product supplement called Slim Boost. Right. So let's zoom in quickly for this. Right. Hopefully you guys can see that. So UGC ad script. So cool. So this might sound unbelievable, but the weight loss supplements you've been using could actually be the reason you're struggling to shed those extra pounds. So this is the hooks. So this might sound unbelievable, but the weight loss supplements you've been using could actually be the reason you're struggling to shed the extra pounds. So this is already going with, like, problem, right? It's already going in people that are looking to shed extra pounds. So this is already going with what they're struggling with, right? So that's from Organic Research Viral Hook, right? Most of these supplements are packed. So this is where they're actually going into the explanation, right? Common field solutions, right? Most of these supplements are packed with unhealthy fillers and synthetic ingredients that do nothing but harm your body. So that's a common field solution, right? So people have already tried on other type of supplements, right? But they haven't tried this one, right? This ad is acknowledging the fact that I know you've tried this, and it didn't work, right? But don't worry, I found a solution for you. I've tried countless diet pills and even prescription medications, yet nothing seemed to work. Primary pain point in reviews. So you could see from doing the audience research and finding this in the reviews, you could actually use this in your ad. This was put together because of the customer reviews that they've gathered from doing the research in phase one, right? So maybe there was a lot of customers saying, well, I've used pills and even prescription medications and it's still not working, right? So they've collected that data, they've turned it into a true insight, and now they're using it as an angle in the ad, right? They're using it within the script, right? Primary pain point in reviews, right? This was until I discovered Slim Boost. So now introducing the product, right? So the solution, right? Slim Boost contains twice the amount of natural fat burners and metabolism boosters than leading brands. So that's primary feature leading to benefit, right? Plus, it's completely free of harmful chemicals and fillers, and is endorsed by certified nutritionists. Primary feature leading to benefit. So it has completely free of harmful chemicals. So it has no harmful chemicals and fillers, and it's endorsed by certified nutritionists, right? So feature leading to benefit, right? Another benefit, right? I've been using it for over just a month, and I've already dropped 2 dress sizes. My energy levels are through the roof, and I finally feel confident in my own skin. Biggest benefit from customer survey. So again, if you did a customer survey and you run a customer survey, like you send, like, a form to your existing customers, and you got this from the customer survey, you will be able to use it in your ad. Again, everything we use in advertising comes from the audience research, which is why we went through the audience research first before we got to the ad idea development process, right? Because it's important. It's the foundation to everything, right? And then obviously a call to action at the end. If you're looking for a truly effective weight loss supplement, check out Slim Boost at slimboostresults.com, right? This is an example, right? So now, let me bring it down so you can see this. Right. This script incorporates key elements such as a compelling hook, common pain points, and unique features and benefits, and a strong call to action. Very simple. PASS framework. Problem, agitate, solution. Very simple. Right. Now, when it comes to, when it comes to the scenery visuals for the body or video of the body of the video, when it comes to the visuals for the rest of the UGC video, at IDMA, we ask ourselves one question. If money or production wasn't an issue, how sick can we make this ad look to convey the main value proposition of this product? When we send the UGC creator a brief, as you will see shortly, we show them examples of the different shots we want them to film. We essentially have a shot list. This makes it very easy for them as they do not have to think about what the best locations to shoot will be, right? The brief literally shows them the different locations where they need to shoot and the different B-roll shots of the product that they need to film. We'll go through the brief in a second, right? In the next part, right? These are the different kind of shots that you might actually include in your UGC ad. Product display shots, close-up clips for the product demonstration shots, testimonial shots, extra shots, right? These are the clips that you might add to the ad to make it more engaging, right? So just extra B-roll shots, right? The shot list will vary depending on the style of UGC we have decided to go for, but generally speaking, these different shots I just went through are the main ones, right? Obviously, again, the UGC ad can be structured in many different ways, right? But generally speaking, these are the most common ones, right? One last thing worth mentioning here before we move on to the brief writing process. When we launch an ad, we take a look at the hold rate to see where people are dropping off, and then we might move some of the modules around to see what visuals keep viewers for longer. The hold rate of an ad is how well the ad retains viewers beyond the initial hook period, 5 seconds. And also this is the equation for it. So hold rate, which is a percentage again, equals number of viewers who watched the entire ad divided by the viewers who watched the ad for at least 5 seconds times 100, right? To get a percentage. Best ways to increase hold rates: more cuts, faster pace, different angles, change the recipe of your ad. So obviously the formula of your ad, essentially like how you put the ad structure of your ad, how you put each module together, right? You can change that around, and increase the focus of your customer's desire / pain point, right? That's all different ways to increase your hold rates, right? And that's about it. That's the end. All right. So that's that. So that's how we come up with an ad. And to summarize everything, you need an ad concept. You need to go through it. That's the one step that you need to implement into your ad creation journey, right? Into your ad creation process, right? You need to have you need to go through an ad concept ideation step. Without that step, each ad you develop is just a guess. You're hoping for the best. This is not a charity. This is a business. You need to be intentional. The ad concept has to be intentional. You have to purposefully create that one. You have to have the who you're going after in mind. So that's the who, why they should care, and what you're offering them. Those are the 3 elements that make up the core ad concept. Once you have the core ad concept, you develop ad ideas, right? We usually do 3 per ad concept, 3 ad ideas per ad concept. And then each ad idea should have 3 variations, right? So variations are different, it's the same ad, but just one slight difference. And that slight difference, that variable that you're changing, has to be the same change in each of the ads, right? So if you're changing the hook, just change the hook in the 3 ad variations. The rest of the ads should be the same, right? But the hook might be different in each ad variation. And then we have creative assets. So the creative assets are basically 2 aspect ratios of the same ad. So each ad variation has 2 aspect ratios, 9:16 and then 1:1, right? and then you should have 6 creative assets at the end. So ad concept, ad ideas, ad variations, and then creative assets, right? You need to go through that process every single time when you're creating a new ad, right? So hopefully that's quite clear. The next step, we're going to be going through brief. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for free specific help with your digital marketing efforts, feel free to book a free consultation call with us. To do that, all you need to do is click the first link in the description of this video, choose a date, and fill in a short questionnaire about your business. An IDMA growth consultant will get a call with you to give you advice and actionable steps to solve any specific digital marketing problem you're currently facing with your e-commerce brand. Now, full disclosure, at the end of the consultation call, if our growth consultants determine that your brand meets our required standards, then we might consider a partnership with you. At IDMA, we do not consider a partnership with every brand owner. In fact, we only partner with brand owners that are in a position to rapidly scale their brands with the help of our growth team. With that being said, book a consultation with us to get free specific help with your digital marketing efforts. Thank you for watching this video. Take care.